Being a typical Ontario, Canada winter December day here, I don't think I'm going to get much cutting in. With weather like that outside, I can't think of anything I'd rather do today than just sit inside by the fire and make a video. A lot of people are concerned with polishing and sharpening the edge of their swords. Doing the whole technique with stones isn't really necessary for a lot of us. If you're like me and you've already purchased a sword that is very sharp, you find that after cutting a bunch of mats and cutting some bottles and stuff, it's not quite as razor sharp as it was. Well, this stropping technique will gently polish the blade and bring back that razor sharp edge that you like. I first learned this technique when I got into leathercraft many years ago and learned about keeping your swivel knife nice and sharp by drawing it across a piece of leather which some jeweler's rouge had been applied to. And it really would polish the edge, keep it sharp with a minimum amount of work so that you could get in and carve your leather for leathercraft. I'm using belt leather that you can get at hobby shops, leathercraft supply stores. It comes in a length. It's a tanned piece of leather, but it hasn't been treated with dyes or finishes of any kind. I use brass wood screws to attach it to this little board jig that I have of 2x6s. This way, if I ever did accidentally touch the blade, brass is softer than steel, so it wouldn't scratch the blade. And plus, it's easy to take this off and replace this piece of leather once it gets pretty worn. I've been using the same technique for a while for keeping an edge on my trusty old Schrade old-timer hunting knife. As you can see, it's been stained from years and years of use, but it has a very nice polish to it and very fine polished sharp edge from using the stropping technique. First thing I do is clean my katana with what I'm using is glass cleaner. Take the oil off. It cuts well through grease and stuff, so if there's grease or wax or anything on your blade, this is going to take it off nicely. Keep it clean so you don't get oil on your leather for your polishing. And also the glass cleaner evaporates very quickly. You can see it's pretty much already dried up on there. The first thing you want to do is take your jeweler's rouge. It's available, you might have to look around for it. You used to be able to get it at hardware stores and stuff. It's the same substance they use when you see in movies where they're sharpening a straight razor to give a guy a shave. They have a leather strap on the side of the barber's chair and they wipe the blade on it like this. It sharpens it up. It's a leather strap and jeweler's rouge. What I do with this is take the jeweler's rouge and rub it into the leather. You'll see it gives it a bit of a coating. Like any real fine finishing, polishing technique, this takes a lot of time. And it's something you do just to take out the minor scuffs on the blade from cutting and to get that razor sharp edge back. I even used this technique to fix a slightly rolled edge I had on one of my blades. It worked rather well and brought back the geometry of the edge. I sometimes do this sitting on the floor, doing it on the table here just to show you. What you're basically going to do is lay your blade nice and flat on the leather and draw it across like that, just like a sharpening technique on a sharpening stone would be. The great thing about this technique is the jeweler's rouge is such a fine polish that it's very unlikely that you're going to screw anything up and ruin your blade. However, I don't think that if I had a higher end blade I would be using this technique. I would send my blade to be professionally polished and sharpened. But this is a great technique for once in a while getting your blade back to razor sharpness. Now you can see how the blade leaves kind of dark marks on the jeweler's rouge. That's actually the minute bits of metal and impurities and stuff coming off the blade surface. I'm just demonstrating this today, but normally if I'd want to do a really good thorough job, I would disassemble the sword and take the blade alone and do it. I've taken small nicks and even small scratches in the blade out using this technique, but it is something that requires some patience. It takes some time, just like any fine polishing technique. But it does work, and it does take out the scuffs and abrasions on the sword from cutting. Once you've finished your stropping technique to polish up your blade, you've got a nice edge that's all ready to shave again. No. All you have to do is oil it up, and you're ready to go. UBC, can you make the cut?